All right, beautiful people. In this lesson, we are going to create a program to find the sum of digits. Before even explaining what sum of digits or how the program is going to look like, I want to tell you next few lessons are going to depend on this one. So if you really do not understand this lesson, you are not going to understand next few lessons as well. So please try to focus on and try to understand whatever I'm explaining here, because this lesson is very important. The concept of this one will help you to solve different kind of problems as well. So here we need to find the sum of digits. What does it mean by that? So let's say if the user give us a number and the number is, let's say, 1, 2, 3. So here we need to separate each of these digits and we need to find the sum of these digits. So here the first one, let's say we have 1, then we have 2, then 3, and we need to find out their sum. So we are separating each digits from the number and then we are finding the sum of their digits. So this time it's going to 6. So we just need to get an user input and then we need to print the sum of their digits. Okay. Now, even the program maybe look like a very simple, but we are going to, go through many things and we will see how to separate each digits from the numbers. So here, basically, we can start. Let's start printf, and we're going to ask the user to give us a number here. So let's do that. Enter a number, and let me just put here something like this. Let's say enter a positive number. Enter a positive integer number. Positive integer. Let me just put it like that. Okay. And now we need to take that input, so therefore we need a variable. Let me just define the variable here. So we have the variable here as well. And now we need to validate the number when we are taking the input. So we can do that. We already have seen how to validate the number. We can use scanf to get the number for short, just like before, and then we can use %d because we're going to take an integer number, and then we're going to assign the number inside the variable number. Okay. But we want to make sure that it's not equal 1 here. So let's do that. And then we can say if it is equal 1, then we're going to say here, please enter a valid integer. Okay. And I'm going to explain you one more time what does it mean by that. But before, let me just write it down here. So I'm going to say invalid input, please enter a valid integer. Please enter a valid integer. All right, so what is happening here? Let me add a new line also, and the end of semicolon should be there. Okay, so let's say if somebody gives us the value here 2, of course only one input the user is giving, so it will take only one input. 1 not equal 1 is not true, so it will not go inside. That means it's a valid input. But if somebody gives us 2 inputs here, let's say 2, 3, then of course we have 2 inputs, and 2 not equal 1, which is true. In this case, it will go inside and it will say, hey, this is not a valid integer. Okay, that's something going on here. Now I want to also make sure the user input is not going to be 0 or less than 0. So in this case, I can add one more validation here, and this time I'm going to say the number is less than or equal to 0. If this is the case, then of course it's not a valid input. We're going to say, hey, please, invalid input, please enter a positive integer. Please enter a positive integer. So the validation part is done. Now we can see how can we separate this number. How can we separate the digits from the number? So let's go back to the drawing here. We are going to find out how to do that. Before that, let me just get rid of this one. Okay, fair enough. Now try to understand here, the most important part comes here. We have a number here. That's a 1, 2, 3. This is our number. Okay, we are starting from here, number. But one thing before even doing anything I want to do is that I want to store this number inside a temporary variable so that I do not change the original number. And for that reason, I can go back here. I can name it like this, original number. So I want to keep my original number as it is. I do not want to do anything with this. So here I'm going to keep the original number like this. Okay. Now I'm going to create another variable, and this one is going to be our working number. So here I'm going to name it as a working number. You can name it anything, doesn't matter. Okay. You can use a temporary variable, something like that as well. So what do I want to do? I want to store the original number inside the working number, and that's why I'm using this line. So the original number will be stored inside the working number. And now I will do everything with this working number so that it doesn't change anything to the original number. That's the only reason why I'm doing this. And this idea will be very much needed in next few lessons. Okay. So this is our original number. Again, I'm just going to write it like that. Give me a moment here. I'm going to write original number, and let's do that here. This is our original number. Let me just put it like this so that it makes sense. Okay. Now we are assigning this original number into working number variable. So let me just put working number equal 1 to 3. And now we need to separate the digits. And how to do that? Basically, if you divide by 10 and if you try to find out the remainder, this will help you to separate each digit every time. What do I mean by that? Let me show you. So the concept is here. We are looking for the remainder. And let me just write it down. And each time we're going to divide this number by 10. So the working number will be divided by 10. And we're looking for the modulus here. So the working number is here. And we're looking for the remainder. And what basically this one does, I want to show you here. So the number is 1 to 3. This is our working number, right? And if we divide it by 10, what's going to happen here? So 10 divided by 1, of course, it will divide by 1. 10 into 1 will be 10. And then we have 23 here. We can multiply by 2. 10 into 2 will be 20. And this will give us a remainder 3. So we have our first remainder, which is 3. And of course, you can see that we are getting the digits, the last digit from the number. So at least we are separating one digits, right? Now that we have separated the digit, we need to find the sum of each digit. And therefore, we need a variable to store the sum. And in the next, logic here, we're going to add, now that we have found the remainder, we need to add that to the sum. And this is something we did earlier. So we need to have a sum variable, and each time we're going to add the remainder with the sum variable. So sum plus remainder. Okay? Fair enough. So we are just basically, creating our logic here. Now that we have a variable called sum and remainder, let's introduce them here as well. So I'm going to add here remainder and also sum, and initially the value of sum will be 0. So I'm just keeping them for now. Of course, we are going to use them. Now, what about next digit? How can we get the next digits? If you look at the quotient, this one, here we have 12, and now we need to deal with this one. So again, we're going to divide the number 12 by 10, but before that I need to change the working number. So previously the working number was 1 2 3, but now the working number will be 1 2. And for that, how can we do that? So how can we get the working number? Again, let me come back here. So the new working number will be here. New working number will be whatever the previous working number was, and after dividing that, the quotient part will be our new working number. So these are three important parts. If you can understand these three important parts, then it's nearly done actually. Okay, so just focus on here. So now that new working number is 12, and we'll come back again here. So the new working number is 12. Remember this. Again, this will be repeated a few times. So again, like 12 divided by 10 here, try to focus, because that's what we're doing here, right? And if we multiply by 1 time, so 10 into 10, then we have the remainder 2. So remember, at the first time we had the digits 3, which was added to the sum. Now we have the digits 2 separated, because if you look at the remainder, we got the digits there. And then we're adding it to the sum. And then again, who is the new working number? This time it's going to be 1, because that's the only one left. So we'll continue, divide it by 10 to get the remainder, and it will be 10 into 0 into 0. Therefore, the remainder is 1. So we got the last digit that we're looking for. So we have all digits now. And then, do we need to continue it? Of course not. When we should stop it? When the working number is 0. And we should stop it. So these 3 lines of codes should stop when the working number is 0. But if it is not 0, it should run. So we should run this until the working number is not 0. That's what I'm saying. We should run this until the working number not equal to 0. Okay, so now let's go back to the code. We have understood what we need to do. We are coming back here. We can run a while loop here, while loop, and we're going to say we are going to run this while loop until the working number is not equal to 0. Not equal to 0. Let me get rid of this one from here. And now what are the logic we have found so far? What we need to do, first of all, we need to get the reminder. And how we are going to get the reminder? We are going to divide the working number by 10 and we're looking for the modulus, that's all. And then we're going to add this to the sum. So sum plus reminder actually here, and that should be all. In the next line, we need to change the working number. So the new working number will be the working number divided by 10. So only the quotient part will be here. And that should be all. Now the sum of digits are basically inside the sum variable. When the loop is over, we are going to print it here. Just after the loop here, we're going to say sum of digits equal, then we're going to print the result here. Let's do that here. I'm going to add a new line and let's print the variable sum here. Okay, this should make sense. So sum of digits of %d, let me just print very nicely here. I'm going to use the number here and then I'm going to show the result. So this is going to be our original number that we want to show, and then we are going to show the variable sum. So why did I not change anything with the original number? Because in the end, I wanted to show sum of 1 to 3 equal 6. Sum of 2, 4, 6 equal maybe 12, something like this. So I wanted to keep my original number as it is, and I have done all the calculation with the working number. So the original number doesn't change. Even the working number will become 0 in the end. But if I would do that with the original number, so that original number would be 0. And in the end, if I need the original number, I wouldn't get it. That's why I have used a temporary variable here called working number. Okay. Now let's compile and run it. Let's see what's going to happen here if we run this. So enter a positive integer. Again, let's say if I give 2 inputs here, we want to check our validation does work or not. So here, let's say if I give 2 input, 1 and 2. All right. Or maybe something like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm giving 2 inputs and it says sum of these is 1, 2, 3 equals 6. So it's just getting the first one here. Okay. Again, let's continue here. Let's say if I give an input here, A, and immediately it shows invalid input, please enter a valid integer. So this one is working. The first one is working. And also the second one is also working. It says invalid input, please enter a positive integer. We can use here else if we wanted to do, but of course that wouldn't make sense for all the validation. Let's keep it like that. Now I'm going to compile and run again actually, and then see whether it does work if I give a positive integer 1 to 4 or 1 to 5. And for 1 to 5, we can see sum of the digit is 8. It's working completely fine. Now let me run it again here and show you one more time. Let's say if I give 1 to 3, it should show 6, and it does. Now let's see if I give 2 value, this time 1, 2, it should show 3, and it does. So hopefully you got the concept how we can find out the sum of digits. Even though the variable name is quite long, of course you could use something like this number, then temporary, then r, sum, which is completely fine, but I wanted to make it more meaningful, and therefore it is something like this here. Okay. Now the same concept we'll be using in the next few lessons. That's why I said try to understand this program really well. It will be very handy if you can understand. And one more thing I have missed, as you have seen, even though like one if condition is working, we should not go to the next. So therefore we should use return 1 here, because we need to tell the program immediately, hey, there is something wrong and please fix that. We should not go further down here. So here I'm going to use return 1 as well. All right, this is something we have missed. This should be all. Now let me compile and run again just to test it out. Here this time I'm going to give A, and immediately you can see invalid input, please enter a valid integer. So it will not show twice anymore. Okay, that should be all for now.